Hello everybody, how are we doing today? Back at it again. Welcome back to Legends, to episode 4.5 of my bronze to wherever it ends up leading us to. Summer's Rift Swiftplay journey. This episode's a little bit different. We're taking things outside the box a little bit. We're doing a short and focus on how I practice my mechanics and sharpen my gameplay outside of ranked. I'm all about improving one step at a time, guys. Today we'll be sharing some tips that I'm using to level up my skills that was shared with me. So with that, I have a special shout out that goes to one of my awesome viewers. Please don't butcher me for butchering this name, but Mode the Breeze 2766, who dropped some absolute game-changing YouTube resources. I didn't even know about these resources, and I look at League of Legends content all the time. The resources were how challengers control mouse movement in League of Legends, and then 30 settings on hotkeys you need for Season 15. And these are all by Skill Cap Challenger LOL guides. So thanks for the recommendations, my friend. I really appreciate it. These guides are a must-watch for anyone serious about improving their mechanics and in-game control. I've already started seeing some improvement in my move and mobility just by practicing some of those things. If you guys have any tips, tools, or training routines that help you in League, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to feature more of your suggestions in future videos. And as always, don't forget, give me a like, subscribe, and then tap that notification bell so that way you don't miss the next step of the climb. And with all of that behind us, let's get into it. And the climb is real. Let me tell you folks, I just played a game. We absolutely should have lost that game. And I just posted it. So what we'll do is put a link to it so you guys can go watch it as well. But we should have lost that game. We were up in kills, but we weren't getting objectives. And the other team had us back down into our base. My team, as always, it seems to be a thing at this elo, wanted to surrender at 15 minutes. Absolutely do not surrender. I don't surrender at all. It's against everything that I believe in. I'll fight till the end. But with that, I didn't surrender, and we kept playing, and eventually, around 20 minutes, the opponent team surrendered. So we walk away with a W on a game that all signs are pointing we were going to lose because we were not objective oriented. So at this elo, you get a lot of egotistical individual type play. That's just the reality of it. So focus on the things you can control and not the things that you can't control. And I can't control what other people do. I can only control what I can do. But with that, we're going to get into this. I'm going to walk you through and kind of how to get set up here. So if you can see over here on my client, League of Legends client, another thing we're going to talk about is my rank. So right now I'm at level 19 in the game through my client, and I need to get to level 30 to be able to play ranked games. I'm considered an apprentice right now, and I'm at a bronze with 1,040 points, and I'm unranked in solo duo. So what does that even mean? Well, until you reach level 30, you are going to play in iron and bronze respectively, but not be able to get past bronze. Once you get into ranked level play at level 30, you can start going up to silver and gold, diamond, platinum, all of those. All the way up to Challenger and Grandmaster if you can make it that far. So in order to get there, you got to grind. And part of that grind is more than just jumping in and playing games. So you can play PvP games all day long, you can play AI games all day long, and you will get better, but eventually your growth will stunt unless you start practicing your mechanics. And if you go to the links of those videos in the description here, you will start learning professionally, or at least professionally put together those mechanics. Now I'm going to try to put a little piece together here for you guys so you can get into it. and hopefully that helps you at least get started so you can start improving your game. And then I hope to see you out there in Summoner's Rift, and we're going to be either going head to head, or hopefully we get on the same team and we start working together and collabing. But without further ado, let's go ahead and walk in on just how to set this up. So if you go into the play option up here, you hit play. You have all these different options that you can choose, but we're going to stay in Summoner's Rift. And when we go up here to the top, we're going to swing on over to training. And as we click in training, we're going to use a practice tool. Now this practice tool is here to set us up the ability to be able to train and work on some of those mechanics that we want to get better at, and that we'll learn in those videos. So with that, I'm not adding anybody to join, but you can have a friend join. You can add a bot and go against the bot if you need to. I would recommend in the beginning, don't let anything go in there. Just focus on your individual mechanics first, and then start adding a little bit more difficulty as you go. So with all of that in mind, let's jump in and start this game up. So as we start the game up, we can pick a champion. One of the first champions that you'll be able to get once you start playing in the game is Ashe. Really low cost champion. I think 250, 450, or somewhere around there. So you'll be able to get that champion almost right away. We're going to go ahead and click Ashe and just use Ashe as an example. I am a Caitlyn main back in the day, seasons 1 through 4, but we'll just go with Ashe. It's a common player that, especially if you're in the beginning of the game, you can get on your champions roster. So we're waiting for this game to load up. In the meantime, I'm also going to switch my screen up a little bit so that way I fit in the League of Legends box, if you will. All right, here we go. So now we're into it. All right, so you can see my mouse running here. We're in the game. Minions are going to start coming up in a minute, and we'll address that. But down here in the bottom right, which is over here by my map, you're not going to be able to see it because my picture's in the way. But you can click your camera center icon. And this camera setting, this allows you to lock or unlock your camera. Right now we have it locked, so it's centered on me, so it's easy for me to move around. In this game, as the timer is going down, just keep in mind that if you sit here pause because you're looking up stuff online or whatever you're working on, and you're not engaged in the game, it's very similar to being AFK in a real game. For those of you who don't know, AFK, away from keyboard. And so essentially what's going to happen is the game is going to time out on you, and it's just going to end. So keep your player moving around, and this game will go on forever. To my awesome feedback that I got earlier, that I mentioned to you, he also had asked me in a comment about my FPS and my MS. And so my MS is my ping that I'm getting, and that's showing some latency or how smooth my system is running. So if you can see in the upper right corner, I have my FPS is running right now between 230 and 238, and then my MS is running between 30 and 33. There are a lot of things that factor into those numbers, but between 30 and 50-ish, 60 is pretty good. Anything under 30 is absolutely excellent. And then FPS, over 200 FPS is really good. So I have a beefy system here, even though my monitors are not the best, and they're not putting out a lot of megahertz. The GPU that I'm using, the graphics processing unit, or my graphics card, if you will, it's working overtime doing what it's supposed to do. And then, as I said, my computer is beefy, so the processor is also helping along the way, as well as the RAM that I'm running. Just so you know, on this device, I'm running 64 gigs of RAM, so I'm able to run quite a bit of process at once. So that's going to contribute to that really good FPS and ping that I got going on there. So the minions are doing their thing, and they're moving up in lane. One more thing. When we're talking about the FPS and the ping, if you want to toggle that on and off, you just hit Control F. And Control F will turn it off. As you can see, it's disappeared, and I'm going to hit Control F again, and it's going to come right back on. So if you want to see how your computer is doing, if you're noticing some lag, put that on there, and then see what you can do Well, if the ping is, if the FPS is really low and the MS is extremely high, there are some things that you can do to minimize that. Um, and you're going to have to do some settings in your own computer. There is a difference whether you're using Wi-Fi or an Ethernet cable. Definitely recommend Cat 6 Ethernet and over Wi-Fi, just to stop any kind of drops or anything like that. But there's a whole lot more things to do. If you're having problems with it, reach out to me and I can share some with you. Outside of the church, which I do a lot of worship ministry and as a pastor, and then of course the military. My day job in the military, as I worked on computers and did technology. I'll just leave it at that. So that's the job that I last did in the military, and so I like to think that I know my way around a computer a little bit. All right, so let's get into the game. We're 4 minutes into the game. We need to get going so we can get you guys going. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to sit here and add gold. So I'm going to give it a click here. You're going to see down in the bottom my gold just plussed up by 10,000. It's just because we want to buy some items right off the bat. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to level up all the way. And the reason why I'm leveling up all the way is it's maxing out my damage output and as well as my movement speed and just putting my character in the max position that I can put them, so I can practice the mechanics. Now, as I get good in the mechanics, let's reduce that level and allow me to level during my practice, and then all the way down to level 1 so I can practice last hitting movement and everything when my champion is at its lowest level possible, and that'll help me perfect any of those mechanics that I'm working on. So now that we've done that, we want to level up all of these. So us as beginners, simple thing is for us to move our mouse over and click. Well, that takes a lot of time. But if you hit Control and you go into your queue, you can level it up automatically without using your mouse. So my mouse is over here doing its thing, and I'm just leveling up. Same thing with my W, and then I'll do the same thing with my E, and then I'll do the same thing with my R. So now I'm completely maxed out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the shop. So as we go into the shop, I just get my basic items that are already in there. For your navigational purposes, just so you know, you have over here your trinkets. So instead of looking for them through typing in here or trying to go through all your item sets, you can actually just come over here and click this arrow to the side and then go to get any one of your trinkets. You can also do the same thing with boots, and then you can do this down here with your core items. So you can move your items around where you want them. And then you can also go into your basic settings in your client, and then you can actually go into your items and you can tell which spot you want your items to go into your bag. That way, when you buy, say, Phantom Dancer, it will always go into the 3rd spot, and when you buy Infinity Edge, it'll always go into the 5th slot. Blade of the Ruined King, everybody wants to have quick access to that number 2 key, so you put it in the 2nd spot, so when you click number 2, then you're going to activate the active on the Blade of the Ruined King, and be able to slow your enemy down. So that's just a little tip for you. So let's move around here a little bit more, and then we're going to go back in here. All right, so the other item that I'm going to buy is going to be Phantom Dancer. And so we're going to want to buy Phantom Dancer, and then I want to buy boots. Now, for purposes of training, I'm going to go ahead and get the Boots of Swiftness, because it gives me a little extra movement speed. But typically, I'll run with Berserker's Greaves for the added attack speed. And actually, we could do, we could do Berserker's Greaves to get the added attack speed, but I'm okay with, we got the Phantom Dancer. So let's get those Boots of Swiftness, and then now we're going to jump into it. Well, all right. So now you can see that my camera is locked onto me, so it's centered where I'm at. Where we struggle and have a lot of problems in beginning levels of League of Legends is it's hard for us to use the camera whenever it's unlocked, and moving around we get confused and our mouse moves too quick. So make sure you adjust your mouse accordingly on your computer as well as in League of Legends. There is a way to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to pop into here and just kind of move forward a little bit. You want to constantly be clicking. And when you're clicking, you want to keep this little circular radius around your champion. You don't want to be clicking all the way over here and then coming back, because the movement of your cursor takes too long to get from A to B. So what you want to focus on is these short, deliberate movements, and this allows you to be flexible and unpredictable when you're dealing with other champions. The pros, challenger level, you watch some of these other players, they actually got this down to a science, and they're really good. They get hundreds of clicks compared to the tens of hundreds of clicks that we do. Maybe even thousands of clicks for the duration of the game. All right, so what I'm working on my mechanics here is learning to keep my champion not centered on the screen, but be able to move my screen up just a little bit, so that way my champion's at the bottom, so I maximize my vision. You want to have your vision where you can see what is happening up here and still be able to see your champion. And then as you retreat, you're up here, you just come back and you keep your champion locked to that portion of the screen, so you maximize your view, your vision. What's also really cool about having your screen unlocked is you can click over by left clicking anywhere on the map and view what's going on without moving or impacting your character or your champion where they're at over in this spot. So if you're clicked over here watching what's going on, just to get kind of a fill on the map, if you hit your space bar, you just recenter back on your champion. So something to think about. The other thing we're going to talk about is mechanics and movement. So these minions are coming down, and you want to start learning how to last hit minions, and you want to learn how to hit while you're moving. So as you can see, I'm doing little slow movements and just hitting minions as I go. Now the purpose of doing these movements and hitting your minions is canceling out your auto attack animation, which is going to give you a little bit more extra speed, as opposed that if I'm just standing here and just attacking. That is good too, but now you're stationary, you're predictable, and your attack animation is going to run on full circle. So, here working on those mechanics, letting the minions do their things. So the other thing we can do is work on our movement, but before we do that, let's get back into this last hitting aspect. So right now, in order to last hit the best, you want to be close to your minions. So some of these some of those YouTubers that you watch out there that play at a really high level, like your Fogged and so forth, and those guys, TC Swag, these guys actually get in here and they get really close to the champion, which shortens the range, because it takes me from here a long time to shoot and get that shot off, but if I get closer, now I'm really close and I can last hit really easy. This is going to help me out a lot with Teemo, and it has already since I've been doing it this way. My creep score is going up quite a bit. Creep score is my farming my minions. So as you can see, let me lock back on my character because I'm learning that. I'm at 21 minions right now. At 10 minutes, you need to be in that 70 to 80 minion range. And if you watch some of these guys that are really good at what they do, they're almost always at 70 to 100 minions by the time they hit 10 minutes. Where I have times where I'm lucky to get 40 or 50 minions in 10 minutes, and that's a good day. Most days probably be like 20 or 30 minions, and that's just one of that is because my last hitting. I'm too far away from the minion, and I don't have my auto attack timed right, and I'm missing out on the CS that I could be earning. Also focus your caster minions before you go to the before you go to your cannon or your front minions, because they're easy to get, and you don't have to worry about the aggro from your minions to the casters. You knock those out, and then you just come back, stay close to the front minions, and so then that way when they get low, and you're done going after said caster, you can focus back on the regular minions. Also, there's what's called a stop command. So if you use S, it's binded or hotkeyed to S. So if you're in the middle of doing attacking or you're attacking an animation, you can stop and they'll stop attacking. Move it, stop, just move it, stop, move it, stop, move it, stop. So practicing this mechanic can be beneficial too, for getting you to not just keep auto attacking. So if we go in here before we start doing movement, let's go into our settings. I have all my settings set on a quick cast call, or all, and then my normal cast, I have it binded down on Shift Q. Now, how does that help out? Well, my W has a volley. By the way, when you're Ashe, you want to be on the side when you use your volley, so that way you maximize hitting minions. So if you use Shift W, I can see the range of my W and everything that it's going to hit. When I click left click, it's going to shoot it, not right click. Or I can just quick cast it and it'll automatically shoot it. So I'm up on my ability, I'll pop over here to the side, aim, and quick cast. So quick cast does it automatically, whereas Shift W lets me see my range, and then I can just shoot it. So that's a good way to gauge how far away from everything you are. Another thing we got going on in here, we got item shop is set to N, and N happens to be next to B. So when I back, I can just click N and I automatically go to the shop. So right now I'm going to press B, go back to the shop, I press N, I'm already in the shop. I can start doing what I want to do to shop, or I can just X out of this and center on my guy again. Another thing we got going on here is our items. As I mentioned before in the beginning, our items are naturally where 7, or well, our items here on 7 was where 6 was at, and then 4 was where T was at. So it went 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And so right now I have it natively 1 through 6, which then makes sense for all of my items that I buy in my bag. And now the trinket is on T, which is right next to my R, where my fingers are most of the time. So I can just flip my index finger over one key and I'm able to put my ward down. So if I hold Shift and T, I can find out the range of my ward. Or I can just go in here and just put my ward there. And this is good. So if you want to have that pro type placement, if I put this here, you see where that little blue range thing is on the ground. That's where my ward is going to land if I click here. But if I go here, I can place it more precisely. So place it precisely, and so I got a ward there. So that's just a little tip or trick, if you will. Yeah, there's my ultimate. Now with playing, or let's continue doing this. So I have my replace quick cast and quick cast with indicator turned off, so I toggled it off because I'm using my Shift T to be able to toggle it on. Player movement, I have player attack move click, and I have that put to my side mouse button. Most players will put it, I have 2 different side mouse buttons for my thumb, and then I have one for my finger on the right side. So I just use the one on the left side. What this means is that instead of me trying to aim and click at an enemy, so let me scroll down here and we have enemy target dummy. I'm going to place it down here and minions are going to start attacking it. So dummy here, I'm going to put a dummy here, I'm going to put a dummy here, and I'm going to put a dummy here. So these minions are going to be locked here on the dummy now after they kill the minions. So I have these 4 dummies simulating champions. So what I want to talk about is, in order for me to shoot this dummy, right, I got to click on him directly. If I click over here, it doesn't shoot anything, and then eventually it'll start shooting minions, right? So how do I get it to target the dummy while minions are going on there? Well, there's 2 ways to do it. One of the ways of doing it is putting my mouse close to where the dummy is and pressing that side button on my mouse. So pressing that side button and it automatically goes for the dummy. So to see this in real time how it works, I'll give you an example. I click here and I'm right on that. If I click over here, I stop attacking. If I click here, now if I hit the S button, I'll stop attacking. If I hit the S button, I stop attacking. If I hit the S button, I stop attacking, right? Now, if I want to target all of these without hitting these minions, because these minions are going to town on me right now, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my left click button to go over here, and then I'm going to hit it over here. I'm not even touching the dummy. I'm out here somewhere, and I go to the one closest to where my click is. So which one is closest to my click? Which one is closest to my click? And you notice how I'm not really going after a lot of minions. I'm going after the champion closest where my click is. So let's get out of there so I don't die. Alright. So going back to here, doing our thing. So now there's another toggle. If you look into the top left next to your number 1 key, isn't the tilde, that little weird key. If you click it, it's set to default. You got to hold it down, but you have to take it where you have to toggle it to where it's on click, where it toggles on and off. When I click it on, if you see my cursor, it'll light up as red in the middle. That lets me know that it's activated. So now when I'm coming over here, I'm right in the middle of the minions and I can't shoot them. I'm not shooting the minions at all. But what I can shoot is the champions. So this allows me to get an accurate, precise attack towards champions. So now how is this even better? So now when I'm coming through and I'm pressing my left click, my left click will allow me to target minions as opposed to, or my side mouse click will allow me to target minions, while my left click will target only champions. Now, I still have to hit the champion in the center of the champion, which is fine, but with that, it limits me from starting to attack minions and then possibly missing some important skill shots and auto attack combinations that I'm trying to do. So now if I hit that little button there in the corner, I toggle it back off. You notice the red light's not in the middle anymore. Now I can go back to town and right click and start attacking minions. And then use my side mouse button to focus champions in the vicinity. So I'm not even clicking on the champion.
They take me cold. I have seen
all right.
Southerners cannot imagine.
So now here we go. We're going to go back into the keys while those guys, the minions, are going to town. When we get into video, a couple things that you should know. I turn the colorblind mode on. You'll see that in the videos if you watch them that I put in the links in the description below. But your colorblind mode allows you to see more pronounced abilities. And whether you're colorblind or not, it doesn't matter. Just, I would say, activate it. Your custom game, you want to have it increased maximum, and you want to have your character quality on very high and your effects quality on very high. Turn your environment quality on low and your shadow quality off. The environment and shadow quality has absolutely little to no impact on you. You're not going to notice the difference with your eyes. I have my frame rate set at 240. I wouldn't set it to uncapped because you have a potential for lag. But 240 if your computer can handle it. Otherwise, adjust accordingly to what you need for your system. This is good, and so from there, that's good. Moving on to sound. In sound, master volume up, music volume, I have it. So I have music volume and I have ambience volume muted. Don't need it. It's not important. But announcer and voice volume, I've turned that down to 50. Just kind of have it a little bit in the background. But what does matter is my sound effects volumes. And you might say, hey, Shane, well, why sound effects volume? What does that even matter? Well, each champion has different sounds that they make whenever they do their abilities, including their ultimate. There are. So, and you'll see in the videos that are shown in the link below, Zion is a prime example that he makes a sound when he does his ultimate and he starts charging towards you. That sound is extremely important for you to notice it. Well, he also has multiple different skins, and so each skin has a different sound. So as you play against them, you'll start learning those sounds and you want to be able to hear it. The ping volume, you need to be able to hear that from your teammates as well, so I have that slightly lower than the sound effects itself. Everything else is pretty standard. We just leave it as is. Your interface. So the HUD scale, turn that all the way down. You don't need that on. And then your mini map scale. So if you see my mini map here in the corner, I have my picture kind of sized up similar to the mini map, which you'll see a lot of other YouTubers do the same thing that decide to have their video on. But I raised it a little bit. The pros need to be able to see what's going on, so they have the mini map set up so that they can see everything. If you keep it in it's small, so right now my mini map is set to 55. If I go really small, which is kind of that default, yeah, I can see more, but I can't see the map very good. And map awareness is absolutely critical in this game. If you go too large, you're going to hide a lot of stuff, so you're not going to be able to see enemies coming out of the corner. So yeah, just have situational awareness of your environment and anticipate what could be happening down there with your map covered. I definitely want health bar shown. Let's see. I asked to show spell costs as well, so I know how much my spells are costing. So down here on the bottom, you can see at level 18, my Q cost me 30 mana. My W cost me 55. And my ultimate cost me 100 mana. Early game, it's going to be even more mana that it costs, and it's going to drain you down quick. So by knowing what that mana cost is, you can plan out accordingly. Let's see what we got here. Chat visibility. So I have all party, everyone in the chat. I want to be able to see what both sides say in the chat. You can disable this if you're being tilted too much by the enemy team during gameplay, but it doesn't bother me so much. What bothers me more is like the emojis and the pinging. And then showing timestamps. Showing timestamps are important for knowing when wards were placed, when any of the buffs were taken, when the camps will be back up, when Drake will be back up, when Baron will be up. Any of those key objective points that you need in the game, so you can plan accordingly to rotate and transition to those areas as needed. The emote bubble display is on for me. I want to be able to see my team's emotes, especially if they're being good teammates. But I mute the enemy emotes. I just don't like them. They're just distracting. Also, it's just another way that sometimes the enemy folks just try to tilt people, and just best turn it off and not deal with it. As far as your combat text, I make sure that my experience is available. I want to be able to see my experience. So that lets me know as I'm getting close to the minions if I'm in range of the experience, because you can see where I'm gaining 30 experience, being in range of whatever said minion. I'm over here in this minion, and then you'll see my experience and the attack down 62 experience. So because I have that checked, I can see those things when it's happening. Let's see. Displays champion sound notification, yada yada yada. All right, moving on. Game. Work with your speed, mouse speed accordingly. Make sure you set it up in your computer as well as in game, and then that way your mouse is moving at the speed that you want it. Remember that you need to get from point A of the screen to point B of the screen in the most timely, effective manner possible. I'm going to go ahead and take these minions out. So toggle the minion spawn, disable minions, and they're all dead. There we go. All right. So move camera on revive. So you can toggle this on or off. I actually I'm going to toggle this off now. Moving the camera on revive, what that essentially is doing is, when let's say that you're here on the map and you're viewing up here and you want to see what's going on. Well, once you die and you revive here, your mouse or your camera is going to automatically move to the base and center on your champion. So if you toggle this off, this allows you to keep your cursor wherever it is that you're watching for gameplay. And to get the information that you need from what's going on in that area. And then when you're ready, just hit your space bar and you'll go straight back to your champion wherever they're at. And then, so I did that, and then I auto attack. I took that off. Auto attack, I think, set by default. and that auto attacks everything. And there are times when you don't need to attack, especially when you're farming. So in farming, you need to wait and try to last it when you can. Other than that, so attack move on cursor is enabled, and that helps me out with pointing my cursor towards where the enemy is going to be, and then it going ahead and executing that command and then hitting the champion, as opposed for me having to take my mouse and centering it directly on the champion. All right, well, I hope that helps you out. So as you can see, these are examples of how I focus on, you know, my movement, working with my camera, panning, and then remember we're trying to keep our movements close so that way we can focus on good solid attacking. And then if you remember, use that left mouse button if you have it mapped accordingly. So then that way you're attacking in the vicinity of where you're trying to attack. And wherever you're closest to, that one's going to automatically attack for you. That allows you to move and attack, move and attack, move and attack, move and attack. And so right click to move, side mouse button to attack. And that should help improve your game. So hopefully these mechanics right here is already set up to help you improve your game. And get in here and get in the lab, put in the time. Playing your games is going to be great, but if you get out here and spend some time in these practice sessions working on your mechanics, your moving, and resetting your animations and maximizing your attack ability when you're engaging champions or minions or towers. You would hate to be under a tower getting turret aggro because you're misclicking all over the place. So by having this set up to be able to target who you need to, toggling on with your tilde, noticing I have the red in there, and so now my champion is going to target only champions and not minions, which is good. So it maximizes my ability. And once again, remember, I don't have to click on the champion. I just need to click in the direction or whichever one I'm closest to. If I click right here, it's going to go to the top. If I click right here, it's going to go to the bottom. If I click in the middle, so you see, I don't have to move very much to switch up champions. So this right here, my friend, game changer. It's going to take you to a whole new level, and you're going to find these bronze games are going to be that much easier. Last thing I'll leave you guys with before we go ahead and sign off here, be a respectful player out there. I get it. Everybody's got problems in their life. I hope if you ever need any help or you need some prayer or something, reach out to me. I'll be happy to do that for you. But we all have our problems. We all have our skeletons in our closet. Even me. I spent 26 years in the military. I've seen things that I can't unsee, and it is what it is. And I deal with it differently than other people that have seen the same thing. So all I ask you is just remember there are other people out there that have a real life and have real problems. And when you start getting in these tilt modes where you're hazing on people and being disrespectful in the game, you could be inadvertently impacting somebody's life significantly over stupid, silly little words in a text box. And let's just be real, I'm not being mean, I'm just being real around here. But, if I wasn't a person of faith and we were face to face and you come at me like that, you're probably going to get bopped one. And there was a time in my life when I actually would have bopped you one. Now it's more geared towards self-defense and what have you, if something were to ever come to that point. But there are other people that are not where they are or where they need to be in their spiritual journey, and they will absolutely deck you right in your grill for saying something silly in the face. So if you want to hide behind the computer and the game and act all tough, that's great. But when you get out there in the real world and you confront folks out there, your tone would definitely be a lot different. And a lot of these folks that are flapping off at the gums in the game couldn't hold their own out there in the real world, engaging with people in person. And we're in a time in our society when we can hide behind the internet computers and we can talk a lot of smack. But most of the people that talk the smack can't back it up. I want to tell you right now, all things considered, I can back it up. So, just be mindful of it that, there are people out there that are better than you in their skill set and their talent. I'm not saying that people are better generally or naturally than people because of whatever they're doing. I'm just saying that people are physically better, stronger, or they're better in their craft or their game than you are. And then there are some that are not. We shouldn't be hazing or giving them a hard time for what they can or can't do. Instead, we should focus on what we can control in ourselves, be respectful and mindful of others, and just know that we're here just trying to have a good time in the game. And you can really take a good time and make it not such a good time, and that can inadvertently have a domino effect on how they interact with other people for the rest of the day. And unfortunately, some people don't know how to deal with receiving that kind of communication from somebody, so they don't know how to handle it, and then they take it out on other people. And there's nothing fun about that. And once again, as I said earlier, it's disrespectful. And when we get a lot of people like this in this community, so I have a platform here, so I'm using it to speak my mind and on a spiritual enlightenment, and just being honest and upfront. But just remember, people got feelings, and you can hurt them, but other people get hurt by it too. And you might go to bed sleeping just fine at night, but you'll get what's coming to you. It'll come back around. It won't go unforgiven in one way or another. It's going to come back onto you because the world has a way to do that. So get spiritually aligned, and you can kind of curve that away, and then you'll start treating people as you would like to be treated. And next thing you know, you'll see things in your life happen for the better and not for the worse. But if you're one of those folks out there, I hope that you change. And those of you that are not and that are like me, stay strong, stay vigilant. Don't let other people get you down. Focus on what you can control. Stay spiritually aligned, and continue having fun and continue the grind. Other than that, spend a little bit of time on here. I hope all is well. Drop your comments down. Let me know what you think. Next video will be a League of Legends game with me actually putting to practice some of these things that I've learned and that I'm working on improving. For those out here that are in the grind, make sure that you're getting in here not just for a couple minutes, but over the course of several weeks, get in here for a couple hours. I would say do 30 minutes a week, just working on your mechanics, and then apply it into your games, and keep doing the same thing until you get in the rank, then you start climbing your elo. Other than that, I wish you guys the best. Gaming with Geronimo here. We'll see you guys the next time. Peace out.